With two Godzilla films being released in such a short period of time, one of them must be terrible, right? Right?
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire is here, and folks, it's nice to be able to talk about a movie with this big of a smile on my face. So if you haven't seen any of these Monsterverse films, well, you might need to catch up because Godzilla X Kong, I'm just going to call it that from now on, The New Empire or New Empire. Look, you know what film I'm talking about because it's on the title card. But this is the 5th film in the Monsterverse franchise from Legendary Pictures. So this is going to be one of those reviews that's not a spoiler-free review or a spoiler review because you really can't spoil the fact that this is a lot of monsters fighting. Because that's the strong point of this film. Big monsters fighting. Folks, if that's what you want to watch, well, this is the movie for you. See, one of the biggest complaints people have with these Godzilla movies are too many human side characters, too much talking, too much drama, things I don't care about. Or the characters get killed off too early. Let's take it back to the first film in this series, Godzilla from 2014. Everyone complained that Bryan Cranston died. Sorry for a spoiler from a 10-year-old movie, but at this point, it's on you. But everyone complained about his death. Everyone complained about Aaron Taylor Johnson and the other Olsen sister. Everyone complained about all these characters. So then you get to the next film, and the characters are still a big part of the movie. But we finally get to the 5th film, this one, Kong X Godzilla, The New Empire, and well, all of your prayers have been answered, because this movie is very light on the human, strong on the monster, and that is this movie's strong point. This movie is a visual feast. It's surprising just how much they can do with the CGI here. Now, of course, we have the same complaints about CGI across the board, and most of this movie is made in a computer. But the body language that they're able to portray with the characters, the emotions that they can get out of a CGI ape, it was really, really, really well done. Now, let's start talking about the positives because there aren't a whole lot of negatives that we need to dwell on. But like I said a moment ago, the human characters are pretty much there. But that's about it. So if you've seen the last film, Godzilla vs. Kong, then you'll know all the characters. There's the scientist, the mute girl, the black guy who's the podcaster, and a couple other side characters. And for the most part, they come back and are the human element of this film. And if the other film is fresh in your mind, well then this one's going to feel like a nice continuation. Now, here's one thing that I do want to talk about with all of these big these big event movies, is they all feel similar. The Roland Emmerich films all feel the same way. Big global event, scientist, military, this, that, and the other. They all come together. Ancient secrets about the government, ancient secrets about the world, ancient secrets about ancient aliens. It doesn't matter. It's all the same plot. So Kong Godzilla, this movie has the same plot as that, but somehow it knows how to cut out the crappy, boring parts. Like in 2012, you didn't really want to watch John Cusack worried about the ex-husband and all this other shit. You wanted to watch the planet fall apart as an airplane took off during an earthquake. You wanted that. Well, this movie is all airplane and earthquake and very little John Cusack. Again, it's a good thing though. So the movie's about Godzilla and Kong fighting, then joining up to fight, other monsters, other creatures inside of Hollow Earth. And it's really weird when you say it out loud. Like, to try to explain the plot of this movie, I sound like I'm rambling like a madman. But when you actually watch this film, you'll realize, oh, they knew how to pace this movie well. Now, I'm definitely one of the stauncher people when it comes to using the phrase movies are fun as giving that a pass, but this movie was like legitimately fun to watch. Is it this masterpiece? No. If you're looking for high art Godzilla, well, you got Godzilla -1. That movie won the Oscar. You can go and watch that one if you want really high art Godzilla, with a deeper meaning to talk about this and that as an allegory for all these other things. You have that Godzilla. That Godzilla's out there for everybody. But this is popcorn Godzilla, and that doesn't mean that it's any lesser of a Godzilla film. Like some of the classics, it's big, it's dumb, it's fun, and that's what this movie is. It's a lot of cities being destroyed, it's monsters fighting, it's violent, it's over the top, there's robots and shit, lasers, some other creature that I don't know if it's in the trailer, so I won't spoil it, but it's like a very iconic kaiju. Like, this movie has it all. It's a lot like the first Avengers movie, where, yeah, there is a story. Yeah, it makes sense, and it's pretty solid, but you're there for the high intensity and the action and the fun and the adrenaline at the end, and this movie has a lot of that. The only real big complaint I have is the fact that this movie is a little short. Normally these CGI slugfests are 2 hours plus, but this one I think was under 2 hours, and it was a lot of fun for most of it. So I guess it was a situation where they gave you something good, they didn't give you too much of it, and it left you wanting more. Now I am curious to see where else they go with these movies. These movies are like very inoffensive, big budget, silly movies. They're not like Michael Bay movies that are stupid and big and over the top. These movies are just kind of big and over the top, and they're well aware of what they are. They're, like I said, they're like Roland Emmerich films. And if you like those types of movies, you're going to like this one. If you like the other Monsterverse films, you're going to love this one. To try to go and do a beat-by-beat review is kind of pointless because all of what you want is in the movie. But they're able to take these elements of a CGI slugfest and turn it into a story. Kong is able to build a relationship with another creature, and it's actually compelling. We're at a point now with the animation of these digital characters, and you feel the emotion. It's there. It's kind of cool to see Kong interact with this younger character, and it's not hokey. It's pretty well done. And there's a whole Planet of the Apes vibe in this movie too, so if you've liked the last couple Planet of the Apes films, you're gonna like this movie because you get some of that raw intensity and some of that tribalistic, you know, chest grunting. Oh, you know what the fuck Planet of the Apes is. I know what Planet of the Apes is. Look, there's two versions. There's the classic with Charlton Heston, which is my favorite, and there's the new one, which is awesome, and I own them all on disc. So you know how I feel about those films as well. In this film, it's really good to talk about something and have had such a positive memory of it. Now, this is the 38th Godzilla film and the 15th King Kong film as well, and I don't feel tired of Godzilla and King Kong like I do Ghostbusters or other properties. There's something to be said when you try to overdo the story, when you overdo the lore, and you're trying to basically make up for the fact that your movie is just two giant monsters fighting for under 2 hours. This movie avoids all of that. It doesn't try to do the Ghostbusters approach where they try to add meaning to the firehouse, or they try to tell you some ancient lore that's always been there, like the ancient Ghostbusters, and make you roll your eyes and go, huh? Like, we know all of Godzilla's stuff. We know he's there to protect the Earth and fight other monsters and take their powers and do shit. Like, it's been the premise for the last couple Monsterverse movies. It's kind of been the premise of Godzilla for decades at this point. So what do you expect? You get exactly what you want. This is like going to a restaurant and having your favorite meal. This is like big budget comfort food. It's schlocky, it's over the top. You're not going to get anything deep. You're barely going to get English. And that's great. I keep reiterating that point, but you're not going to find anybody bitching about wokeness. You're not going to find anybody bitching about political correctness or any of the shit that a lot of people try to put on every movie. This is one of those films that is really kind of bereft of that. I'm sure you could complain about the lady's haircut or something like that if you're really picking, but that's picking. This movie is a big, over-the-top, like, blast of energy to the face. Like, people were complaining about Godzilla being pink. Watch the movie, it makes sense. Godzilla's also blue. There's an ice Godzilla. There's like all kinds of crazy shit in this movie. It almost feels like you're playing with your toys. You got Godzilla, you got King Kong, they just start beating the shit out of each other, and then this third guy comes in and they start fighting, and it's just a crazy over-the-top brawl. It's just a bunch of CGI puppetry. It's just toys fighting on screen, and that's awesome. Remember, folks, films can be high art, films can be high octane, films can be schlocky, films can be cheesy, films can be everything you need them to be or want them to be. And if a film of this level can have this much quality put into it in terms of like pacing and fun and effects, well then other movies really don't have an excuse. This was more entertaining than the last 15 superhero movies. This was more entertaining than a lot of films I've seen. I didn't think this was going to be that good. I watched the first Kong Godzilla movie right before I went to see this one. That was eye-rolling. That was annoying. That was over the... It had way too much human element, Millie Bobby Brown and all that crap. They know what doesn't work anymore. They understand that we're in the TikTok age where people just want the effects and the big stuff so they won't look away at their phones. And, well, when it's this, when it's monsters, when that's what you're there to see, well, when they do it this well, we all win. So folks, I'm going to say Kong Godzilla was a fun time. It was a win. I can't give it a skip it, stream it physical media because it's not a home movie yet, but I will say go out and see this one on the biggest screen you can possibly see. This movie is the definition of summer blockbuster. It's fun, it's stupid, it's crazy. I'm not giving it a pass because it lacks anything deeper. It's never meant to be anything deeper. Like I said, we live in a world where we have high art Godzilla and commercial Godzilla, and you can like them both. But there's not a reason to complain about this Godzilla not being the high art Godzilla when high art Godzilla's out there to win awards, to be lauded and praised, and to be consumed at an equal level. This is for everybody else. So I like both. I do prefer high art Godzilla because I like less of the monster and the deeper implications and how you would destroy this thing in a realistic manner. And this one is balls to the wall insanity. It's fun. It's crazy. It's perfect for people who don't really give a shit about the deeper meanings of film. So if that sounds interesting to you folks, go ahead and watch it. But folks, I want to know what you think of it. Tell me down below, what is your favorite kaiju movie? Tell me what your favorite Monsterverse movie is as well. I'm going to go with this one in the Monsterverse. This movie was awesome. I liked 2014 Godzilla. I know, I'm in the minority. I liked not seeing a lot of the monster. I liked following some of that stuff because some of the older Godzilla movies are like that. But when a movie is this basic, it knows not to give you a bunch of soldiers running around for 2 hours. It's not like a Michael Bay Transformers movie that, you know, oh man, we gotta follow Justin Theroux's character and Shia LaBeouf and all these other humans, and it's like, look, I want to watch Optimus Prime fight Megatron. I don't care about literally anything else. But Michael Bay has got to throw in the human story and the romance story and this story and that story, and this movie has none of it. So if you're looking for that, Godzilla, there you go. So folks, thank you for watching. If you want more of these reviews, let me know. I've been having fun going out and seeing movies, stuff that I not necessarily would go out and see right away for the channel now. So we gave you Ghostbusters last week, we gave you Kong vs. Godzilla this week. Let me know what you'd like to see next time. Folks, we're going out of town to WrestleMania, so be on the lookout for those live streams and that content as well. But until then, folks, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other. Stealing Solo asks the greatest what-if question of all time. What if a group of disgruntled Star Wars fans kidnap Harrison Ford and force him to remake Star Wars in their basement? That, and a whole lot more, is answered in Stealing Solo, a Captain's Parody. Stealing Solo has been called Laugh Out Loud Funny and the greatest Star Wars parody since Spaceballs, and it's available now for a limited time only. Go to stealingsolo.com, which is powered by Shopify, so you get the reward-winning safety and security, and get yourselves a copy today. Once we sell through this limited backstock, I'm going back to the drawing board to bring you the sequel, which parodies Luke Skywalker's fall from grace, and finally the closing chapter, which I can't wait to get to, Frankenfisher, the Bride of Solo. And yes, it's exactly what you think it is. So folks, the only way to get that is go to stealingsolo.com right now, get yourselves a copy, and enjoy the greatest Star Wars parody since Spaceballs.